Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's recent visit to India marked the advent of a significant chapter in the new Delhi-Dhaka bilateral relationship. The highly anticipated visit witnessed a number of agreements signed and the two sides committing to further bolstering their time-tested partnership. While the two countries reviewed the entire gamut of ties, as many as 7 MOUs spanning across the energy sector, water sharing, railways, and IT were inked. From jointly developing thermal projects to improving multi-layered connectivity, both India and Bangladesh are committed to assisting each other in their growth. The neighboring South Asian countries are also two of the fastest-growing economies in the world, and their commitment to a deeper engagement at all levels between the two countries has proven to be high-yielding for both.
पिछले कुछ सालों में हमारा आपसी सहयोग भी हर क्षेत्र में तेजी से बढ़ा है। आज बांग्लादेश भारत का सबसे बड़ा डेवलपमेंट पार्टनर और क्षेत्र में हमारा सबसे बड़ा ट्रेड पार्टनर है।
The tenacity to resolve bilateral differences or issues through dialogue and diplomacy has been the underlying principle of the engagement between the two countries. It is such diplomacy and dialogue that resulted in the signing of an MOU on water sharing of the Kushiara River. The agreement will benefit the people of India's northeastern Assam state, as well as the people of the Sylhet region of Bangladesh. Negotiations are also ongoing to resolve the protracted issue of water sharing of the Teesta River. Prime Minister Hasina, who hailed the Indian government for being cooperative and supportive, said her government was consistently engaging with the Indian side to achieve mutually beneficial results.
We focus on possible ways to materialize our commitment and accommodate each other's priorities in a mutually beneficial manner. Connectivity, trade and commerce, investment, water resources management, security, border management, and lines of credit are some of the areas we discussed.
Whether it is diplomacy or trade, both Delhi and Dhaka have synergized their efforts to attain maximum dividends. The trade between the two neighbors has grown significantly in the past few years. In the fiscal year 2021 to 2022, Bangladesh emerged as the largest trade partner for India and South Asia. It was also the 4th largest export destination for Indian goods across the world. With a 66% year-on-year rise, Indian exports grew from 9.69 billion USD in 2020 to 2021 to 16.15 billion USD in 2021 to 2022. The two countries have also been negotiating a comprehensive economic partnership agreement, which will enable both India and Bangladesh to retain and secure all benefits in their trade ties, even after Bangladesh's status elevates to a developing country, as per the UN definition of the term.
बांग्लादेश के निर्यात के लिए आज भारत पूरे एशिया में सबसे बड़ा मार्केट है। इस वृद्धि को और गति देने के लिए हम द्विपक्षीय कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इकोनॉमिक पार्टनरशिप एग्रीमेंट पर शीघ्र चर्चा शुरू करेंगे। हमने आईटी, अंतरिक्ष और न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी जैसे सेक्टर में भी सहयोग बढ़ाने का निश्चय किया।
The two countries share historical, social, and deep cultural affinities. Since 1971, 5 decades since Bangladesh was formed with Indian assistance, the relationship between Delhi and Dhaka has been marked by trust, cooperation, and mutual respect. The successive governments have endeavored to strengthen the cooperation between the two. The current governments have taken the relationship to an unprecedented high, with the future looking even more promising for both India and Bangladesh. With hands clasped together, Irangani is praying before a small figurine of Buddha in the capital city of Sri Lanka. She is praying that God provides mercy to her family. In In the crisis-hit island nation, Irangani works as a road sweeper, earning an income so meager it cannot meet her and her family's needs. Amidst the political and economic crisis in Sri Lanka, Irangani is forced to work at this stage of her life. Early and relaxing retirement is not an option for her. To ensure her family's survival, Irangani works daily, and most of the time on an empty stomach.
කන්න බෑ කාගෙන් හරි නයිට් ඉල්ල ගත්තාම ඒ වගේ වන්න ඕනේ එහෙම තමයි ඉතින් අද ගෙයි කිසිම දෙයක් නැහැ සීනිත් පන්න පොඩ්ඩක් තියෙනවට තියෙන්නේ ඉතින් ආයි නයිට් ඉල්ල ගන්න බයයි මට දෙන්න විදියක් නැහැ නේ නිසා ඉල්ල ගන්න.
Irangani is just one among millions of individuals bearing the brunt of a deep economic and political crisis which has the island nation reeling. Skyrocketing costs of essential items are making it harder for the Sri Lankan population to survive. According to a recent assessment by the World Food Programme, more than a quarter of the country's 22 million people are now struggling to secure adequate food, with 1 in 4 people regularly skipping meals. The data seems to suggest that by the end of the year, half the population could slip below the poverty line. The grim situation has forced many to flee the country. A large number of people are being arrested by the Sri Lankan Navy in the border areas during their attempts. Sri Lanka's debt crisis has become a global humanitarian and political issue. According to the Sri Lanka Central Bank, the island nation has more than 50 billion USD in external debt owed to countries such as Japan and China, as well as the World Bank. Fortunately, Colombo has managed to take the first steps in getting financial aid from the International Monetary Fund. The IMF has approved a loan of 2.9 billion USD to the island nation. The development came after President Wickremesinghe, who is also the country's finance minister, presented his first budget that aimed to boost revenue and fight inflation.
IMF staff and the authorities have reached staff-level agreement to support Sri Lanka's economic policies with a 48-month arrangement under the so-called extended fund facility of about $2.9 billion.
While the $2.9 billion USD agreement will provide some relief, its disbursement is still nearly 4 to 6 months away. However, the IMF's announcement will help Sri Lanka to secure short-term funds from other donors. The IMF has outlined the economic reforms that the country needs to undertake. It is also offering assistance to close policy loopholes that invite corruption. On the other hand, the Sri Lankan government has introduced a spate of new measures to try to manage the prices and shortages of goods in the country, including rationing, import bans, and price caps. In an attempt to curb foreign currency outflows, it has also banned the import of 300 items, including dairy products and electronic server equipment. Furthermore, Colombo has also invited Saudi Arabia to set up an oil refinery in the country. Sri Lanka, however, still requires wide-ranging economic reforms for sustainable growth. The country is facing a long journey ahead to pull itself out from this crisis.